Well, folks, I'm back. I'm back. I am back. And I'm married. Yup. I am no longer a me. I am now an us. Forever and always an us. But, John, little do you know, and little does everybody know, that this is not my first marriage. Did you know that?
No, I didn't
I've been
know
married
that.
before.
To what?
The Jacksonville fucking Jaguars, baby. I am married to the Jacksonville Jaguars. My first love is Trevor Lawrence. And my second love is my wife, Miss Hannah Bowmans. Don't let her hear that. She'll fucking crucify me. But we are back here. The dynamic duo is back at it again. We are here for episode number 13. Lucky 13 for Johnny McCarthy and Joe Miglio. And the episode before the extremely hyped up Legend Series. Tonight, there's not a lot of NFL stuff going around. So why not go through a way too early standings prediction, maybe some playoffs? I don't know. Just rustle the feathers a little bit, stir the pot. You know what I'm saying? I didn't get a chance to talk about the NFL schedule release and Tim Tebow and the Jacksonville Jaguars and everything. So we're going to get into that tonight. We're going to get into a standings prediction. We're going to tease the Legend Series at length. But most of all, we're going to talk about my wedding for the first 5 minutes. PSP, let's roll.
You play to win the game.
Touchdown! Can't wait.
All right, folks. As you could tell, I missed doing this podcast. John, how we doing, man?
The end of it, you were like most of all for the first. We're talking about my wedding for the first 5 minutes. I can't. I'm crying.
It's the most important thing, bro. How we doing? It's glad to be back in the chair.
Yeah.
I'm very happy to be back. I've only missed a week. I hope you did not have too much fun without me with Jose. How was it last week?
It was good, man. We had a good time. Jose really he filled in nicely. He did
I
a good
listened to
job.
the whole episode. Episode was very nice. Obviously, it was not the same without me, but you guys may do. I appreciate that. Jose, if you're listening to this, you did a phenomenal job. You you came prepared. You did what you had to do. I appreciate you very much. But you're no me, and that's fine. Nobody is. That's not a problem whatsoever. But everybody, welcome to PSP Perfect Spiral 13th episode. As John said last week, please, if you have time in your very busy schedule, make sure you are going on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Pandora, Deezer, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcast. Give us a follow, subscribe to the podcast, give us a 5-star review, download the episodes. We have finally surpassed 500 downloads. John, congratulations, buddy. Congratulations to you.
Congratulations to you,
Congratulations
Joseph.
to myself. Congratulations to Spencer, who is our amazing producer. We've worked hard on this and we've finally surpassed 500. How does it make you feel, man?
I was not expecting this when we started this journey, but seeing that we did pass 500 that's amazing. Thank you, everybody.
Especially when we started this in the off season, we were trying to kind of get our feet wet. We've gotten some really nice feedback. We're kicking, we're going. And we're building a nice audience base before the season starts.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Which is really, really cool. Just to give you a little bit of mood on the setting here, we have the NBA play-in tournament to our left. We're watching the Indiana Pacers and the Washington Wizards right now, battling for the number 8 seed, currently tied at 12. And I would be remiss if I did not let John tell us about his barber and our sponsor. John, please let the folks at home know about your fine barber and what he does for us.
Man Cave Barbershop, Page Avenue, Staten Island. Go see Al.
Al.
He's a good friend of mine. Listen, you scratch my back, I scratch your back.
There you go. I like it. Beautiful.
You go see him, Man Cave Barbershop. 10% off your first cut when you mention Perfect Spiral Podcast.
Awesome. Keep it up. Go see Al, Man Cave Barbershop, 10% off I mean, that's a Starbucks coffee, guys. That's a Dunkin' Donuts coffee.
Yeah.
All you got to do is say Perfect Spiral sent me. That's it.
That's
all you got to do.
Gotta say.
All right.
Before
we get into football, the big news of the weekend was not in the NFL.
It was not.
It was not in the NBA.
It was not.
It was not even the 17,000 no-hitters that happened in the Major League Baseball this week.
It was not.
The biggest news was this fucking wedding ring sitting on my finger.
Wow.
And all I'm going to say, I know people aren't going to care about my wedding, but all I'm going to say is this. John was there.
I
obviously.
was.
And it was a perfect day. Everybody I wanted was there. It was the most special day of my life. We danced, we drank, we ate. We were there with friends and family, and it was the most amazing day of my life. And it wouldn't have been able to happen with people like John and anybody else, my family and friends who were there. So I just want to say, anybody who's listening to this podcast that was a part of that wedding, thank you. You guys all mean the world to me, and I appreciate you guys joining me when I start this new journey in my life.
It was a fantastic party, Joe. It was really great.
Would it not be a great party if I wasn't? I mean, I sang twice.
You sang twice, which I didn't know you did that. Which you were like, Hannah doesn't know I'm doing this, and you just started singing. You looked amazing, Joe.
Thank you so much, honey.
Your lovely wife looked fantastic.
Thank you so much.
It was just awesome. Shout out to Nick, good old Nick Potato. What an amazing job.
Yeah, a friend of mine, Nicholas Potato, also known as Bido, as Johnny calls him all the time. He is Rui Hachimura berries at 3. He did our ceremony, did a lovely, lovely job. And if anybody wants to know, yes, the Jacksonville Jaguars were incorporated into my wedding.
At least 3 times. And so were the Dallas Cowboys.
So were the Dallas Cowboys.
That was amazing.
As Hannah's a Dallas Cowboy fan. So that was what happened this weekend.
We did try. There was an attempt. There was almost a coup at the wedding to get Joe to open up the fantasy league season on his wedding day, just so he could officiate a 3-team trade at table number 10.
Jesus Christ. My goodness. Unbelievable.
Hannah's like, oh my God.
Yeah, I know. But so that was what we got going on this weekend. And now we've had the schedules come out. Okay. You and Jose went over a slew of teams last week.
Yeah, what do we do, like 12 teams
You
or
did
something?
more than 12, I think. You did a slew of teams last week. You guys gave a great breakdown. So I'm not going to be redundant here. Mm-hmm. What we're going to do is I sat down in all of my infinite time off that I had, and I went through every single team. Okay?
All right.
And I did every single game, and I basically gave each team a record. Right? Mm-hmm. Of way too early season predictions.
But wait, before you do that.
Sure, talk to me.
I need you to do one thing for me.
Okay.
Before you do that, Joe. I need you to go through the Jaguar schedule for me. Because I need to hear your opinion on the Jaguar
do you want to do
schedule.
the AFC South first then?
Yes, let's do the AFC South first. Because
Okay.
I want to hear your opinion on the Jaguar schedule. Because we did go over it last week. But it wouldn't be perfect spiral if Joe didn't go over the Jaguar schedule here.
Well, we could go over the Jaguar schedule. Let me pull up my notes. And, oh boy. Anybody's an NHL fan, breaking news. John Tavares left the ice on a stretcher tonight.
Oh, my God.
After having a really scary collision. So
Hope he's okay.
yeah, prayers up to Johnny Tavares of the Maple Leafs.
We do it all here on Perfect Spiral.
Yeah,
We got basketball and
so
we got
far,
hockey.
we've covered the NHL, basketball, and football in the span, and baseball in the span of like 6 minutes. So yeah, we are very versatile, but we are sticking with the football group. So let's go back to the notes here and where I put. So you want to do the AFC South first?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So let's get right into it. AFC South, people pay attention.
Okay.
So I'm going to go through what my standings are for the AFC South. Okay. So why don't you do me a favor?
Okay.
Guess what you think my standings are 1 to 4.
Like the team in the order of
In
teams?
the order, yes.
Okay. I think you have Indy winning the division.
Okay.
I think you have Jacksonville second.
Okay.
I think you have Tennessee third.
Okay.
And I think you have Houston fourth.
Awesome. Somewhat right, somewhat wrong.
Okay. Let's see.
You have the Jaguars right at number 2.
Okay.
And you have the Texans right at number 4. I have the Titans coming in first, and I have the Colts coming in third.
Whoa.
You
did say there were some shockers.
I have the Titans winning division at 12 and 5.
Wow. Okay.
I have the Jaguars coming in second at 8 and 9.
That's what we said. Did we
You
say
guys said 7 and 10.
7 and 10? Okay.
So you were
All right.
very close to what I had. And I'll tell you where I think you missed with the one game. I don't know if the exact games I had, yes or no, but I have the Colts coming in third at 7-10.
Okay.
And I have the Texans coming in last at 2-15. Texans own the worst record in football in my standings predictor.
Yeah, they're abysmal.
So, hold on, I gotta text my wife really quick to let her know.
27-26 in the Indiana Pacers.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Very nice.
Terrible foul call there.
Was it really?
Yeah, it was just a shit call.
On a commercial. Minute 37 left in the first quarter.
We're on commercial too.
Okay, so let me go to the Jaguars schedule really quick. Jacksonville Jaguars schedule. Here we go. Oh, that's not what I want. I want the other one. Tits McGee, not what I wanted. Where are we? Here we go. This is the FBS schedule. That's what I want. All right, so let's go through 1 through 17. 1 through 17. Right?
Okay.
1 through 17. All right, so I have them winning week 1 against Houston. Right? Okay. Now, again, all predicated on Deshaun Watson not playing. Okay. Number 2, home against Denver, I have them winning that game.
Okay.
So I have them starting off 2-0, even though we're talking about the Jacksonville Jaguars here. Okay.
Okay.
I have them losing to Arizona at home, going 2-1. Okay. I have them beating Cincinnati on the road. Okay.
3-1.
3-1. Losing to Tennessee at home. 3-2. Defeating Miami in London, making them 4-2.
Yeah, they own London.
Okay. Losing in Seattle, 4-3. Losing to Buffalo at home, 4-4. Losing to Indianapolis in Indy, 4-6. I think is
4
right?
4-5.
No, I think it's 4-6. 4-6.
4-6. Okay.
4-6. Skip Frisco for a second. I can't remember if I had them winning or losing that game. Atlanta, I have them winning 5-6. Rams losing 5-7. Tennessee losing 5-8. Versus Houston win 6-8. Beating the Jets 7-8. Losing to New England in New England 7-9. No, 6-9.
7-9.
7.
7-9, and then 8-9 would be if you had them beating San Francisco.
Yes. Hold on. Did I do that right?
This was the hardest part last week, was remembering the
Did I do
numbers.
that right? I think I did that right. Yeah, I think I did. Because I have them splitting with Indy. You guys didn't have them splitting with Indy. The Jaguars have split with the Colts for the past 7 seasons.
So we had them losing both games.
Right.
Okay.
They're going to beat Indy once. At least I think they're going to beat Indy once. So I have them at 8-9, which again is a dramatic improvement from where they were.
Yeah.
The thing about the AFC South that I found interesting was the Colts. The Colts schedule is not. I don't think where the Colts schedule is not. Here's the teams that I have them losing to at 7-10.
Did we go over the Colts last week?
I don't know.
I don't think we did.
I'm just gonna tell you. I have the Colts starting off. The Colts could theoretically start off 0-5.
Who are they playing?
Their first 5 games, are Seattle at home, LA at home, at Tennessee, at Miami, at Baltimore. Those are their first 5 games.
That's tough.
They could lose every single one of those games. Then they get a reprieve because they play Houston in week 6. And then they get San Francisco and Tennessee back to back.
Oof, that's
at
tough.
Frisco on the West Coast, home against the Titans. I'm telling you right now, there is a legitimate chance. I know the Colts are the Colts, but there is a chance that the Colts could be 1-7 after week 9 or week 8, whatever they have there. I think it's week 8. They won't be 1-7, but I don't think it's out of the realm of possibilities that they're 2-6.
No, yeah. Now I see as you ran through that,
And it's not
that's
like
what
the
I
second
wanted
half
to
of
do.
the schedule is easier for them. The back half of the schedule, they play Buffalo, they play Tampa, they play New England, they play Arizona.
Oof.
And they play Jacksonville twice, and they always split with the Jaguars. Tell me where there's 10 wins in that schedule.
No, there's not. Unless they're up.
Unless Carson Wentz is 2017 MVP Wentz, there's not 10 wins in that schedule.
Yeah, they're
There's not.
easily. I could see a lot of those games. They're at least a 10-point dog.
They're an underdog. I'll tell you, they're an underdog in the Seattle game. They're an underdog in the Ram game. They're an underdog in the Tennessee game. They're an underdog in the Miami and the Baltimore game because they're both on the road. They're an underdog in the San Francisco game, the Tennessee game. That's 7 already. They're an underdog in the Buffalo game. They're an underdog in the Tampa Bay game. They're an underdog in the Arizona game. They're going to be depending on where they are in the schedule, they may be an underdog in the New England game.
Yeah, by the way.
So they're going to be a dog in 11 of those 18 games.
Just so you know.
17 games. I'm sorry.
I'm just throwing this out there for you. Their over-under win total is 10.
I would buy the under 1,000%.
And because they're here, Tennessee is 9.5.
I would splurge all over the under on that. I'm not saying that I'm not saying that Indy is bad. I'm not going to be on this podcast.
It's just a hard schedule.
That schedule is absurd, and those first 5 games are insane.
Yeah,
it doesn't get harder than that. Those 5 games. Let me just pull it up one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All 5 of those teams that they're playing, I don't know what Baltimore had last year. They had 10 wins at least.
Yeah.
And if they didn't, Baltimore had 9.
And San Francisco is going to be healthy.
I mean,
it's tough.
That's not easy. It's not. We're talking about 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 of those 5 teams were playoff teams, and the team that wasn't a playoff team. No, Baltimore did win 10 games because they were a playoff team. Miami missed the playoffs at 10-6. So the 5 teams to start the year had at least 10 wins last year, and 4 of those teams were in the playoffs.
That's a tough look. They got to just hope that they get a good version of Wentz.
I think if you're a Colts fan listening to this podcast right now, after 5 weeks, you would be happy with 2-3. You would be ecstatic at 3-2. I would pay the devil to be 3-2 after that 5-game stretch. That is brutal.
That's easily the hardest.
Brutal.
That's the hardest first 5 games any team's had so far that we've looked at.
That is, oh my gosh, brutal. And I just don't know if they're that good. I don't know if they're that good to withstand that type of a gauntlet. Like I said, it doesn't get easier in the back end. You got to face Buffalo. You got to face the world champion Buccaneers. You got to face Tennessee again. You got to face Arizona and the West Coast. That's not an easy game.
No.
You know?
Definitely not.
It's just very, very difficult schedule for the Colts. So again, we got Tennessee at 12-5, Jacksonville at 8-9. Well, let's say me. Jacksonville at 8-9, Indy at 7-10, Houston at 2-15. All right, John.
What's next?
Tell me where you want to go. Where do we want to travel to? We stopped down south. Where are we going to go next?
Let's go to the Let's go to the AFC East.
AFC East. We're traveling back up north. Okay. All right. So I have. You want to go from worst to first or first to first?
I'll do my. What did I do before? I did.
You did first to last.
I'll do first to last again.
Okay, shoot.
So I'm going. Ooh, this one is tough because it could go either way, right? Oh man, I'm gonna go Buffalo, Miami, New England, Jets.
Money in the bank, and we got the Bills at 13-4.
Wow.
Okay. You got the Dolphins at 9-8. We got the Patriots at 8-9.
Okay.
And we got the Jets at 5-12.
Marketed improvement for the
Okay.
Jets.
I'm telling you right now, I have the Patriots 8-9 because of Cam Newton.
If Cam Newton's a starter, yeah.
I have the Pats at 8-9.
You know what's funny is when you look at their schedule, you could already see what game you're going to see Mac Jones.
You think so?
Week 5 at Houston.
I mean, listen, there are games on that Patriots schedule, and I'm looking at it right now. Right? Theoretically, I could see them starting off 3-0.
Okay.
I could see them beating Miami at home to open the year. I could see them beating the Jets. I could see them beating New Orleans at home to open the year. Right? Then they got Tampa. Then they're at Houston, right? So theoretically, they're 4-1. And I think they lose to Dallas.
Yeah.
Even though the game's at home. They beat the Jets, right? And they have a little bit of a gauntlet too, right? So they have...
Yeah, that second half is tough.
Right, they got the chart at LA, at Carolina, versus Cleveland, at Atlanta, Tennessee, Buffalo, Indy, Buffalo, Jacksonville, Miami to end the season.
That's tough.
It's not easy. I don't think... Now again, I have them losing to Buffalo twice. I have them losing to Indy. I have them losing to Miami on the back end because they usually split with Miami during the year. Right, so right there, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's and then you got Tennessee and Cleveland argument's sake, they go 1-1. That's 5 losses already, and we're still not counting Tampa Bay, New Orleans, L.A. at all. I'm not saying they win all those games, but there's no guarantee they lose all those games.
Yeah.
But so
That's predicated on Cam Newton,
this is a 500 schedule. Whether they're 9-8 or 8-9, this is a 500 schedule. I listened to the podcast this week. What were your thoughts on New England? What do you think? What do you think they're going to be?
I think we were around the same. I think we had them at like 8-9. I think we had them like bordering that 500 mark.
So you're thinking that after week 5, they go to Mac Jones?
I think because week 5 they play Houston, no?
Right. So if you're saying week 5 they go to Mac Jones, and you're thinking that in the first 4 weeks they're 1-3? You think they lose to Miami, they lose to New Orleans, they lose to Tampa, and they just beat the Jets with all those weapons they added on offense?
I think that's likely.
You think it's likely?
Joe, if Cam Newton is the starting quarterback of this team, I have zero faith. I'm sorry. It's just not.
I'll even give you.
No amount of weapons on that team could fix his arm.
I hear you. I'll give you Miami. They're not losing to the Jets. What is New Orleans? Seriously. I don't think New Orleans is very good. New Orleans has Jameis Winston as their quarterback.
Yes.
And their defense is older. No Marshawn Lattimore, I believe, for the first 6 games of the year. Trey Hendrickson was not really replaced. So the defense didn't really get better. They lost Emmanuel Sanders. Is that correct?
Yeah, they did lose Emmanuel Sanders.
Okay. So their wide receiver core did not get better. Where did they improve over the course of this offseason?
I just think that they could put up more points than New England if Cam Newton's the quarterback. That's what I
hear you, but Cam Newton now has people to throw to outside of Jacoby Myers. He's got Jonnu Smith. He's got Hunter Henry. They got Nelson Aguilar. And they still have Jacoby Myers.
And they re-signed James White, no?
Yes, they re-signed James White. So now that they have... Now, all that being said, I still have them going 8-9 because of Cam Newton. But I think particularly, we're talking specifically about that game against New Orleans. As of right now, I think they could beat New Orleans. I also don't think it's a wild, assumption that they're automatically worse than Miami. We don't know what Tua is.
I know.
You remember last year when the Dolphins were down that Ryan Fitzpatrick came in relief to save the game for the Dolphins?
I know. I think
that happened like 3 or 4 times. They don't have that this year.
In regards to the Tua thing, I too am not sure what they have in Tua. I think you're right because they're not going to have that bullpen guy anymore in Fitzpatrick. I think if he wasn't the guy, I think they would have made it very apparent.
I don't know, man, because that's the guy that Stephen Ross wanted. That's the guy that Brian Flores wanted. This is the guy that they're hanging there. Every front office hangs their hat on a guy, right? Yeah. Urban Meyer's hanging his hat on Trevor Lawrence. Robert Saleh and Joe Douglas hanging their hat on Zach Wilson, right? Brian Flores and Stephen Ross and Chris Greer are hanging their hat on Tua Tagovailoa. That's what they're doing.
Miami the last 2 years was a better team than New England.
I'm not denying that at all.
And I'm even talking about the 5-11 team.
But I just don't. I have not seen it yet from Tua. I have not seen that game, even the 4-touchdown game he had. I have not seen a game where I'm like, oh, wow. Like, damn. Like, I saw that from Herbert last year.
Well, Herbert was just
outrageous. I saw that from Burrow. I did not get that sense from Tua. Never. Not once last year did I get that sense from Tua. Was I like, damn. Okay. I see you, man. I see what you got going on. Not once. Saw it from Kyler Murray. Like I said,
I agree with you. I think that the team composition is just better.
Right.
Hence why I have them above New England.
I think they're very, very similar. I think New England really closed the gap with their additions this year.
Mm-hmm. Now, let's say Mac Jones was a week 1 starter. I think it's a different story.
If Mac Jones is a week 1 start, I don't know, man. Are you really going to sit here right now and tell me that Mac Jones, if he's starting day 1, is a better option than Newton right now?
I do, because I think Mac Jones brings a sense of familiarity to that offense.
What familiarity? He hasn't played an NFL offense yet.
He's very cerebral.
That's
He's
great.
very... You can bring back a lot of the old plays you did when Tom was there. You can't do that with Cam.
Awesome.
Cam couldn't run those plays last year.
I hear you. If he steps on the field week 1, it's going to be a totally different game for him. Totally different.
Of course it is. But who's better to have as your coach to ease you into that than Bill Belichick?
Well, Belichick is a demanding
And
guy.
McDaniels.
Belichick's a demanding guy. Demanding guy. He's not going to put his quarterback out there unless he thinks he's ready. You know that.
Oh, of course.
I don't think he's going to be ready by week 1. I don't. I think Bill's ideal situation is Mac Jones sits the whole season.
Oh, of course.
That's Bill's ideal situation. And they go to the playoffs as like a 7 seed. Cool, let's rock and roll. That's what I think. I think they're very flip-floppy, Miami and New England. I think New England closed the gap. Everybody clamored last year that New England didn't have enough offensive weapons. And they did what? They went 7-9.
Yeah, and then Bill went out and did something he's never done before, and he
so
spent...
now, what I'm saying, right, everything I'm saying, you're listening, you're like, wow, okay, Joe, you're talking yourself into them maybe being a 9-8, 10-7 football team. I think Cam Newton got worse as the year went on last year. I don't think he got better. By week 17, he was not better as he was in week 2.
I was shocked they brought him back.
That being so, with that logic that I'm bringing up, I think a game improvement, maybe if they're 8-9 or 9-8, I think that's their ceiling. They're not an 11-6 football team. They're not 10-7 if the ball bounces their way. Maybe.
That's a stretch.
Maybe if the ball bounces their way a couple of times. You know, a kick doesn't go off the upright here and there. Like, stupid stuff.
Yeah.
But I think they're an 8-9. I think they're destined to be 8-9 or 9-8.
It's just the last thing on New England really quick. It's just so hard to gauge them now because a lot of those... Last year was a weird year. And now this year going in for them, it's an even weirder year because of how
It's a transitional year.
Yeah, outside of their norms that they were for free agency, the draft.
Newton knows he's a sitting duck. He knows he's not going to be back there after this year.
He knows
and
he's
he
not gonna be in
knows
the
that
league.
if he plays poorly, he's going to be replaced.
Cam shouldn't be in the league right now. I know it sounds crazy, but dude, he is so beyond washed. And that's why it's hard to gauge them because they don't have the Gostkowski anymore. Who's their kicker?
I think he would be best suited as like a Taysom Hill right now.
Yeah, because he had 12 rushing touchdowns last year.
I think he's a guy that could come in situationally and really benefit your team.
Or
if he's not being back there and dropping the back for 30 passes a game.
Or
he
goes to Washington. But that's a totally
I know you
other
guys
thing.
discussed
That's a totally other thing.
You guys discussed that.
But
all right, so this is the AFC East. Just to go over it again: Buffalo at 13-4, Miami at 9-8, New England at 8-9, and the Jets at 5-12. John, take me on JetBlue. Where am I going next?
let's go to the NFC North, baby.
NFC North, Johnny's neck of the woods. All right, so before you give me your prediction, make your prediction with Aaron Rodgers playing for the Packers.
Okay, good. So I'm glad you said that. Green Bay,
Right.
Minnesota,
Right.
Chicago,
Right.
Detroit.
Very nice. 2 out of 3. Good job. Packers at 12-5 winning division. Vikings at 9-8.
Okay.
Bears at 4-13.
Oof.
And the Lions at 3-14.
Okay.
All right. So anything stand out to you there?
Nah, I think that's right on the money. I mean, poor Chicago, man.
I mean, Chicago, you're looking at this schedule.
and we're saying that's Andy Dalton as a starting quarterback.
Right. You're looking at this schedule for the Chicago Bears. And I just don't see a lot of wins on the schedule here.
Washington's opening it up, by the way.
Yeah, I see that. It's an 8-point lead, 42-34 with 9:13 to go in the second quarter. It was a big yam just now by whoever number 1 is for Washington. I can't read that on the thing. But look at this. Listen. So, I mean, listen. Now, you got Andy Dalton as the quarterback, right? They're losing to the Rams on Sunday Night Football in Week 1.
It was Rui.
Oh, was it? No, it was Chandler Hutchinson, actually. That's who that was.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, it looks like Rui.
I mean, listen, their schedule is not a world-beating schedule at the beginning, right? They have teams like Cincinnati, Detroit, Vegas, right? But then it gets absurd, right? So now, truth be told, I could see them losing to Cincinnati at home.
We're talking about Chicago?
Yeah, I could see them losing to Vegas on the road. I could see this happening, right? It's not like it wouldn't shock me if they lost to Cincinnati.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Right? But they're not beating the Rams. They're not beating the Browns. They're not beating the Packers or the Bucks or San Francisco or Pittsburgh or Baltimore or Arizona or Green Bay or Minnesota or Seattle or the Giants or Minnesota again. They're not beating those teams.
Nah.
They are. I don't care if Justin Fields is in a quarterback or if Andy Dalton's in a quarterback. They're not beating those teams. And you know what? I think the smart thing to do, I mean, I don't even know if they're going to do it now. I think the smart thing to do would be to really, like we said a couple weeks ago, look into trading Khalil Mack, look into trading Eddie Jackson, look into trading Allen Robinson, and just starting over completely.
Yeah.
Suck this year, go 4-13, get a top 5 pick, let Fields play the last month of the season, you know?
See what you have in them.
See what they're going to give him 3 or 4 years to develop, but if you get a top 5 pick, you get a nice offensive tackle, you get a wide receiver, you get a shutdown corner, you know. Actually, do they even have their first round pick? No, they don't.
No.
They trade to the Giants.
Yeah. Oh my God, it gets even worse for them.
Well, listen.
So there's really no
That's
incentive
even more of
for
an incentive to trade Khalil Mack or Eddie Jackson because then they theoretically could get that first round pick back.
Yeah, of course. Khalil Mack, you're going to get a first for Khalil
Right,
Mack,
you could get that first round pick back. So, I mean, it won't be theirs, so they won't be picking in the top 5 per se, right? Because if they trade Khalil Mack or Allen Robinson, they're probably trading it to a contender.
Yeah.
But I don't see a lot of wins on that schedule for Chicago. I want to, and I think Fields is going to be a good quarterback. And maybe 2 years down the line, we're talking about, Aaron Rodgers not in Green Bay anymore, Kirk Cousins not in Minnesota, Jared Goff, who the fuck knows? And all of a sudden, Justin Fields is now on the Bears, and they're like kind of the mainstay in the division. That I could see happening. It's not going to happen this year. It's probably going to happen next year. We're gonna have to wait a little bit for that to come to fruition, I think.
Isn't that sad though about Chicago? All that talent the last few years, and it's just saddled with bad quarterback play.
Well, you know what, and that's why people say that the quarterback is the most important position in all of pro sports, because in baseball, it's clearly about the team, right? Look at Mike Trout. Mike Trout's the best player. He's probably the most dominant player across all 4 major sports, right? And I'm including Patrick Mahomes. I'm including Steph Curry. Mike Trout is like literally so far and away better than every one of his competitors. It's sickening. Yet his team finishes under 500 every season. Why? Because the rest of his team sucks. Okay? The NBA, you're as good as your best player takes you. Okay? Not necessarily, it could be a center, it could be a point guard, it could be a small forward. It doesn't have to be a particular position. It's just a guy. Right? Washington has opened up a 16-point lead on Indiana as we say that.
Yeah, this is over.
The NHL, it's truly whatever team is the hottest at the end of the line, right? Yeah. That truly is. We've seen 8 seeds and 7 seeds go to the Stanley Cup Finals. You just brought up a great point with Chicago. They've had an otherworldly defense, right?
Dominant.
Akeem Ayers, Jordan Hicks, Khalil Mack, Eddie Jackson, amongst other Adrian Amos before he went to Green Bay, Kyle Fuller. And they had offense. They had Montgomery. They had Allen Robinson. They had Jimmy Graham.
Yeah.
Right? They had these guys.
And they had a coach that was an offensive, one of those offensive Andy Reid tree
Matt
gurus.
Nagy, right?
Yeah.
And while they went to the playoffs last year, they were like the fakest playoff team I've ever seen.
Oh, of course.
What held them back? The quarterback.
Yeah.
Think about that. Your whole team is ready to win, but the most important position on the football field is subpar so much that it drags down your whole team. That is why the most important position in sports is the quarterback. That is why you see the quarterback go number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4 every single season. I mean, it's It is undoubtedly the most important position in sports.
And
undoubtedly.
It was sad how they went up and, I mean, not to go over, do revisionist history here, but they moved up one spot to go and get Mitchell Trubisky because they got okey-doked by San Francisco, and Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes are in the same draft.
Yeah, you live and you learn.
And then now they didn't want to make the same mistake. They trade a king's ransom to go up and get, Justin Fields.
Which I think was the right decision.
Yeah, which is the right decision. But what's going to suck is if this team is as bad as you say they are, and Matt Nagy's out the door, Ryan Pace is out the door.
Gone.
New regime comes in.
Right.
Is Justin Fields the guy? Who the fuck knows?
Nah, well... Let's let that play out.
Yeah.
So again, NFC North. Before we move on, we got Packers at 12-5, Vikings 9-8, Bears 4-13, Lions 3-14. John, take me on Delta. Where am I going next?
All right, we are going to. Let's go to. Let's go to the AFC West.
Okay, AFC West. I'm so glad you brought that up. So, talk to me. 1 through 4. What do you got?
So for the AFC West, I have.
Go ahead.
Oh boy,
This is when I'm going to shit on you, so go for it.
I have.
If you have the Chargers winning division, say it.
No, I'm not going to say it. I'm going to say it's Chiefs 1, Chargers 2. Oh man, this is tough. Denver 3, Raiders 4.
Okay, almost. Close. Chiefs 1 at 15-2.
Oh my god.
Okay. Chargers 2 at 8-9. Raiders 3 at 7-10. Broncos 4 at 6-11. Okay.
Competitive a little bit there.
I do not know what the fuck you see in the Chargers. I don't. They are not. They're close. They're close. Let's take a look at the Chargers schedule. And we're going to go game by game. I know we're not going to do this all night, but I want to do this with the Chargers because I listened to the podcast last week, and I was flabbergasted by what you guys were saying about the Chargers. I couldn't believe it. So, let's go game by game.
I'm ready.
At Washington. To me, that's a loss.
Okay.
All right, 0-1. Versus Dallas.
I think they could take that.
I gave them a win there. So that's 1-1.
Okay.
At Kansas City, fat L.
Yeah, 1-2.
1-2. Okay. Versus Vegas,
Win.
2-2. Versus Cleveland,
Is it home or away?
home. No. Why? Explain to me how.
I don't.
How?
All right, they probably lose to Cleveland.
Did you watch the Cleveland Browns last year?
No, I know. They probably do lose to Cleveland. Okay, so was that 2-3?
Right. At Baltimore.
I think they could steal that game.
You're fucking crazy. No. At Baltimore.
Wait, Joe, what do we think the fucking Baltimore Ravens are?
They're not the Los Angeles Chargers are not better than the Baltimore Ravens. In what way?
They have the better quarterback.
Are you crazy?
I think they do. I think they have the better
Are you sitting here right now and saying Justin Herbert's better than Lamar Jackson? Overall.
If I needed to pick out of the two right now, yes.
Right. Herbert's a better thrower of the football than Lamar Jackson. But Lamar Jackson does more.
I know, but the jig is up on Lamar.
Come on. They went to the playoffs last year. They went to the AFC divisional round. How could you say that?
Because I think that's just what it is. I think people know what he is now. But go ahead, continue.
I have them at 2-4. All right. Then they have a bye.
Okay.
Then they play New England.
That I think they can win that game.
Okay. I'll give you the win there. Right? So now we're 3-4. Okay? At Philly.
I think that's a win there.
Okay. 4-4. Fair. Versus Minnesota.
I think they could win that game too.
I don't think so. I think the Minnesota's defense is too tough. You're not giving your team enough credit. They have a good defense, man.
We have a good front seven. The back end of our defense is a little to be desired.
I give them a loss there. Okay. Now I can't wait to do this one. Versus Pittsburgh on Sunday Night Football.
Win. I'm serious.
Jesus Christ. Okay. I have them losing that game. That puts them at 4-6. At Denver.
Win.
Okay. You think they're going to beat Denver twice and Vegas twice? You think they're going to sweep 2 of their 3 division rivals.
I think they split with the Raiders and beat Denver twice.
Okay.
I have a whole argument for this once we're done. Go ahead.
Cincinnati, at Cincinnati.
That's a win.
All right, against the Giants at home.
That's a loss for me.
Okay. Chiefs, loss. At Houston, win.
Win.
Right. So if I have them at 4-6 after Pittsburgh, you have them beating Denver 5-6, beating Cincy 6-6, losing to the Giants, losing to the Chiefs at 6-8, beating Houston, beating Denver, and then losing to Vegas last week of the season because they split with Vegas. That's 8-9. Go ahead, make your argument, please, because I can't wait to hear this.
So first of all, the Chargers are probably one of the few teams the last 2 years that were in more games than they should have been, but have lost due to clock management.
Okay.
Anthony Lynn is gone.
Right, but they don't lose because of the coach doesn't play the game.
I get that, but
The players play the game.
yes, but Anthony Lynn was notorious for bad clock management and bad play calls down the stretch. Last year, he did it numerous times. There was a game, I forgot which game it was, but it was clearly a throwing situation. He ran out the clock for, when they had a shot to win the game. It didn't make any sense. It was a handoff to Austin Eckler. I don't remember the exact play, but I'm sure you could find it if you really wanted to,
Right.
Anthony Lynn blunders on YouTube. He was a terrible coach. Great guy, terrible coach. He's gone. You have the quarterback in there who could be, after this season, he could be like a Pro Bowler. I think he's a Pro Bowl quarterback.
I think, all right, Pro Bowl, great. Pro Bowl.
Now, they did lose Hunter Henry.
Andy Dalton goes to the Pro Bowl. Who cares about the Pro Bowl?
All right. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that Justin Herbert's an all-pro yet.
No, but do you think he's going to throw for 4,000 yards and 40 touchdowns?
He could.
I don't think that's in the cards this year. I don't think it's in the cards this year. Maybe the year after in year 3, but not in year 2. I would be shocked if it would happen in year 2.
I mean, we've seen big year 2 jumps before, no?
Yes, we have. But I almost fell off my chair. But yes, we've seen big year 2 jumps before. But where? Again, let's just go over this again. You just said he lost Hunter Henry, right? Where did he get better? Where did they get better on offense? Who's replacing Hunter Henry?
Nobody.
Great. Okay, so that's one fucking target missing. You can't trust Mike Williams to be there for a whole season. He gets hurt every year.
You got Keenan Allen's going to do his thing.
Keenan Allen's a beast. We all know that already.
Austin Eckler should be hopefully healthy the whole season.
Right. If Eckler's healthy, that helps them.
You know, I think he is one of those quarterbacks that can make the people around him better. I think that's what he showed last year. I mean, he made that one guy look like an absolute star. I forgot his name. The really, really fast wide receiver.
I forget what his name is.
Oh, my God. It was like something weird. Like, it wasn't Gibson. It was... I forgot what it was, but...
Here's the thing about the Chargers, okay? The Chargers need to learn how to win, okay?
Yeah.
I have seen too many games over the past so many years. The one that sticks out is the game in Tennessee, okay? You're on the 1-yard line. You need to punch it in to win the game. Clock's winding down. Melvin Gordon, your best offensive player, gets the ball, and he coughs it up on the 1-yard line. Fumble. Titans take over, game over. Okay? That's a microcosm of what the Chargers are. The Chargers, the Los Angeles Chargers we're talking about, are known for finding new ways to lose football games. Until that narrative changes, we, as a collective NFL fan base, cannot trust them to win close games. I need to physically see it before I could say, okay, I'm ready to buy on the Chargers. I'm not going in blindly and going like, you know what, Justin Herbert, you're going to turn everything around, man. We did that a couple of years ago with Baker Mayfield. You know what they did? 6-10, 5-11. It wasn't until they shored up that offensive line and really got better with the running game that they really went to work. So... We know what a strict passing offense does in this league, and we know that Austin Eckler is primarily, he's not really a running back per se. He's more of like a, Darren Sproles type. He's going to catch 10 balls out of the backfield, and he's going to have 10 catches for 85 yards and maybe a score here or there.
Yeah.
But he's not a running back. He's not your typical running back. I need to see it. I'm glad you buy in. I like Herbert. I think it's going to be good. I need to see it first.
No, I get that.
I need to see it.
I get that. I just think getting rid of firing Anthony Lynn, or I guess they parted ways. I think that was the first step in figuring this out.
Right. I'm not saying Anthony Lynn shouldn't have been fired. He should have been fired, right? Yeah. Listen,
great guy. But
what
just
you
not
said
a
was
good coach.
spot on. But I don't know. I have a hard time. I have a really, really hard time sitting there, watching a Charger game, and with 5 minutes to go, and the game's close, decided 7 points or less. I'm sitting there. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, man. I really think this team's going to close out.
No,
I don't.
I know.
I need to see it first. So that's the AFC West. Again, we got Chiefs 15-2, Chargers 8-9, Raiders 7-10, Broncos 6-11. John, take me on American Airlines. Where am I going next?
Let's go to the AFC North.
AFC North. This will conclude the AFC. All right, 1-4. Hit me.
This one's tough.
It is tough. This one was difficult.
Oh boy.
I will say that first through third in this division are separated by 3 games.
Each or total?
Total.
Wow. I'm going Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
Baltimore. Mm-hmm. Pittsburgh. Cincinnati.
Nailed it. I have the Browns winning the division at 10-7.
Wow. Okay.
I have Baltimore coming in second at 9-8. Pittsburgh coming in third at 7-10.
Okay.
And Cincinnati coming in last at 5-12.
Okay. Now, one team that stands out to me out of that whole thing, I want you to explain why you came to that conclusion.
Okay.
The Pittsburgh Steelers.
At
So this
7
would be Mike Tomlin's first losing season of his career.
Right. Now, I think it's fair to say that we've seen for years, a couple of years now, we've seen the Steelers start to regress, especially Big Ben.
Yes, 100%.
Right? Everyone's going to say, oh my God, Joe, he threw for like 4,000 yards last year, he threw 30 touchdowns. Great. That's fantastic. James Conner's gone. I don't know who's running the ball for them anymore.
Najee Harris.
Oh, that's right. They drafted Najee. But
we don't know what he is, though.
don't know what he is yet.
So.
They got Juju back on a 1-year deal. That's nice. It's just a typical, for me, it's just a typical teams getting older. Changing of the guard type of deal. I think they may lose a couple of teams that they shouldn't this year. Let's go through the schedule really quick. At Buffalo, I don't see that's a win. I think they beat Vegas. I think they beat Cincy. At Green Bay, I think they lose. That puts them at 2-2. Beating Denver, that puts them at 3-2. Losing to Seattle, has them at 3-3. Losing in Cleveland puts them at 3-4. Beating Detroit, beating the Chargers. I have them beating the Chargers. That puts them at 5-4. And then I have them going on a major skid. Because they got Cincinnati after that. Let's say they beat Cincy. That puts them at 6-4.
6-4, yeah.
Then I could theoretically see them losing the rest of the games in their schedule.
And you know what? That's funny because last year they started off 11-0 because their schedule was soft as hell.
Right. Listen to the last 6 games of schedule. Okay. Now I said I had them at 6-4,
6-4.
6-5. I can't remember what it was. Maybe 6-5. Baltimore at home, at Minnesota versus Tennessee, at Kansas City versus Cleveland, at Baltimore.
That's tough.
That's not
tough.
easy.
No.
And if they get a split here with Baltimore, that puts them at 7-10. If they lose all those games, that puts them at 6-11. I don't think they'll lose all those games, but they're not beating Tennessee. I think Tennessee's miles better than they are. I think they lose to Minnesota because it's in Minnesota.
Yeah.
I think they lose to Kansas City. Right? And let's say that they split with Cleveland and Baltimore. That puts them at 8-9. I just don't see it. I think they're regressing. And like I said, I could see them losing to Cincinnati once. I could see them losing to Vegas. I could see the Steelers are a team that we've seen a couple of years who have lost a couple of games where you're like, really? They lost that game? But then they've also beaten teams like, wow, they won that game? It's like, holy shit.
Yeah, they're one of those teams.
I don't know if they're going to have those. Oh, wow, they won that game this year? I don't know if they're going to have those this year.
Yeah, I think Ben puts them in a tough spot.
I don't know if they're going to win those games this year. I think you're going to start to see the decline of the Steelers this year. I do. I actually have them missing out on the playoffs this season.
Yeah.
I do.
And it's sad, you know what? Because I think...
all good things come to an end.
No, of course. I mean, they were dominant for so long, but I think this is a product of... So you know what this reminds me of a little bit with Pittsburgh really quick before we move on? I just want to say this. You remember when the Yankees held on to Derek Jeter like way longer than they should have? Like he was just so done like after a while. Like those last 2 years were just rough. You know? Or like the Lakers with Kobe those last 2 years, like they were rough, man. You know, the Achilles injuries and then he came back and it's like he just had the goodbye tour, you know. I think with the Steelers, Ben is just there. This is year 2 of like he should have been out of the league already.
Well, I mean, listen, he put up numbers last year, so he would, and I know other Steeler fans would have a lot to say about that, but I think the way they ended the season last year,
it was tough to watch.
and the way that they performed in the playoff game last year, I think that may carry over into this season.
Yeah.
I do.
100%.
I think it may carry over into this season. So one more time, we got Cleveland at 10-7, Baltimore at 9-8, Pittsburgh at 7-10, and the Bengals 5-12. John, we got 3 divisions left. We got the NFC East, the NFC South, and the NFC West. Where do you want to go?
Let's go to the NFC West really quick.
NFC West. Okay. Shoot.
All right. Rams.
Right.
Oof. I'm going to go Rams, 49ers, Seattle, Arizona.
Flip-flop Seattle and Frisco. Here's what I got. Now,
Okay.
You ready for this?
Yeah.
You ready for this?
Okay, so before you say this division at one point last year, each team was what, 6-2?
Okay. You ready for this?
It's tough.
Rams 12-5, Seahawks 11-6, Niners 10-7, Cardinals 9-8.
Wow. Each team above 500.
I have each team above 500. I heard what you got to say about the Rams. I agree. But I think there's a couple of more losses on that schedule than you think there are.
We had them at 15-2.
I don't.
Yeah.
I think, let me give you the games I think that they're going to lose before we talk about anybody else. I think they could lose in Indianapolis in week 2. I think they could lose against Tampa, but I do have them beating Tampa Bay. I think they lose in Seattle.
Okay.
I think they lose in San Francisco.
Okay.
I think they lose in Green Bay. And I think they lose, 4 losses?
That's 4.
I think they lose in Baltimore.
So you have them winning all the games that they should win and then losing the games that you would on paper see them losing, but they could go either way.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think they're a 12-5 football team. I could easily see them going 13-4. I could easily see them going 14-3.
Do you think they're the second best team in the NFC? Just while we're here talking about it.
Yes.
I agree.
On paper, I think they are. Simply because they have a team that offensively has skill-wise a top 10 quarterback. Skill-wise. They have a nice receiving core. Not a great one. They have a nice one. Their offense has gotten a little old in the sense that Robert Woods is older. Matthew Stafford is much older than Jared Goff. Cooper Kupp is coming off an injury, so add a couple of years to that.
They lost Gerald Everett.
Tyler Higbee's been there now for a couple of years. So their offense isn't getting younger.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you're a fantasy guru, I would buy high on Cam Akers this season.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
But there's no denying that when you have the best defensive tackle in the history of the sport, and you have the best cover cornerback on the same team, you're going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
Ramsey takes away a half of the field. He takes away your top receiver. Trust me, I know. Okay? He takes away your best receiver on the football field. When you have that combination and Aaron Donald demanding a double team every single snap, and sometimes he beats those double teams.
More often than not, he does. Freak.
That defense is going to wreak havoc. And they're going to give that offense short fields. And I think you're going to see Stafford throw the ball a lot this year. I think McVay is going to unleash his expanded playbook, something he couldn't do with Jared Goff.
Yeah, he pursued Matthew Stafford heavily.
Right. I think he wants to open up his playbook. Do not be shocked. The Rams have been more of a middle of the field slot slants type of team the past couple of years with Goff. I expect them to be more of a deep threat team this year.
Oh, hell yeah.
I expect them to be more of a, stop and go burner type. They did. Tutu Atwell is going to be a late flyer guy in fantasy that you may want to stash. Or don't forget, they also got Deshaun Jackson in free agency. But again, older, aging guy.
Van Jefferson is still there, second year.
They are a team that is looking to win now.
Yeah.
100% looking to win now. I don't think they have a better offense in Green Bay. I don't think they have a better offense in Tampa Bay. I don't think they have a better offense in Dallas. I don't even think they have the best offense in their division, personally. But that defense is no fucking joke. That defense is no fucking joke. They are easily the best defense in the league. Not even close. Best defense in the league. That defense will win them games by themselves.
Yeah. 100%.
So, based off that, I think that it's going to be very important for them to have home field advantage in the playoffs.
Yes.
If they don't, much like last year, I think if they play the Packers in their home building, they win. But because they go to Green Bay, I think they lose. I thought they were going to lose, and they ended up losing.
Yeah.
So, interesting take on the Rams. What do you think about Seattle, Frisco, and Arizona, all finishing above 500?
So Arizona just winning one more game than they won last year.
Yeah,
is
right.
Very fitting. I think that gets that Cliff Kingsbury. I think that gets him fired.
Do you really?
Yeah, how many times are you gonna finish 500 or just kind of?
That division is fucking stacked, though.
I know, but Seattle, I could see kind of falling off a little bit this year. I don't think they got much better on defense, and if anything, they lost.
Right, they lost Shaq Griffin to the boys.
Yeah. And they lost Carlos Dunlap. Oh no, Carlos Dunlap went back, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he did. And then Frisco's an interesting one because Frisco just wasn't healthy last year.
Not at all.
And if Jimmy G, I think is the starter for opening day. I think he's a starter.
Yeah.
I don't think you see.
I think the only starters you're going to see
Trey
on
Lance.
week one for rookie quarterbacks are going to be Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson.
Yeah, that's it.
I think that's it.
Yeah, but Frisco, man, if they come back healthy, when they were healthy, they were a Super Bowl team. So,
Right.
I mean,
but
I
again,
could
they're one of
definitely
those teams I think they're going to go as far as Jimmy G takes them.
Yeah. So I could see them making a switch late if, I mean, listen, don't forget, San Francisco, different coaching, but 6-0, they had Alex Smith.
I know.
He had a concussion, and then they bring in Colin Kaepernick just to switch it up, and then they get to the Super Bowl. So,
No, I hear you.
You never know if history repeats itself.
Listen, I have them at 10-7. I think, again, they're
So wait, do you think 3 teams come out of that division to go to the playoffs?
So we're going to do that afterwards, but just as a teaser, yes, I do.
Okay, all right.
I do. So again, Rams 12-5, Seahawks 11-6, Niners 10-7, Cardinals 9-8. All right, John, we got 2 more left.
All right, let's go.
NFC East and then NFC South.
Let's save the hometown for the last. We're going to go NFC South.
NFC South. All right, hit me with your best shot. What do you got?
This one, I'm going. I'm going Buccaneers,
Right.
Falcons,
Ooh.
Saints, Panthers.
I do have Bucks, Saints, Falcons, Panthers.
Okay.
I have
Flip-flop.
Bucks at 13-4,
Okay.
getting the top seed in the NFC. Saints at 8-9.
Okay.
Falcons at 5-12, and the Panthers at 4-13.
It's a tough look for Atlanta.
Well, first new head coach. I don't think they got better on defense at all.
No, not at all.
More of the same. Apparently, it came out today that they want to trade Julio Jones.
Oh yeah, that's been.
So if Julio's there, I don't care what you do, you're not going to be better offensively. So I don't think there's much to talk about there. The thing about the Panthers are interesting. I went through their schedule, and I wanted them to be better,
Yeah.
but they're just not. They're going to put up points this year, I think. With CMC being healthy, Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore, Sam Darnold now at the quarterback position. I think they're going to put up points, but I don't think they could stop anybody. I think they might have the worst defense in football this year.
Yeah,
they're
it's
pretty
possible.
bad. So I don't think there's really much to write home about. And, they got to play the Bucs twice. The Falcons still put up a lot of points offensively. And the Saints I have as a typical 500 team. They just had Drew Brees. They went like fucking 11-5 last year, 12-4. You take Brees away from that offense, I think they're a 500 football team. We went over it at the beginning. I think, they didn't get better on defense. They lost Emmanuel Sanders on offense. I think they're a 500 team sheerly because of their coach, Sean Payton. He's going to find ways to win. Mm-hmm. But I think at the end of the day, they're going to I would not be surprised in going into next offseason. Remember, this is a team that was dead last in salary cap last year. They had to do magical things to get under the cap. They ended up losing Trey Hendrickson, who I thought was a vital piece of that defense.
Yep.
I would not be surprised in going into next offseason after missing the playoffs next year if they start to ship everybody out and start over. Listen, the Saints have had a really nice run. They got a Super Bowl out of it. Could argue they should have gotten maybe one more.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But listen, they won one while he was there. And Saints fans have been treated to a bevy of years in the playoffs. Granted, they've had some very heartbreaking losses in the playoffs.
Oh, they have. Huh?
Minnesota Miracle.
Kyle Rudolph push off.
Yeah, right? That garbage call in the NFC Championship game against the Rams.
Oh, that was. Oh my God, that was terrible.
So they've had some heartbreaking losses, but as I say to Patriot fans all the time, it's not every day you get a Hall of Fame quarterback to walk through those doors for 15 years. So you've enjoyed it. Now it's time to come back to reality and join the rest of us peons who, don't have like a Hall of Fame quarterback at the helm and just trying to get by. So
At least we'll have fun watching Jameis Winston throw 35 touchdowns and 32 interceptions.
Amazing. Love it.
Keeps you on the edge of your seat every game.
There's really nothing to write home about, though. The Buccaneers are the clear favorite of that division. There's really nothing to go home based off that.
Clear favorite, and I think the NFL right to repeat.
And then in the NFC East, finally. Okay, tell me what's your best shot. What do you got?
This one's tough because I was already thinking about this.
It is tough.
Oh man, you're gonna hate me for this one.
Talk to me, baby.
I'm going Washington,
Okay.
Giants,
Ooh.
Cowboys,
Eagles.
So
I do have Washington 1, Dallas 2, Giants 3, and the Eagles 4. I know I'm going to get a lot of heat for this, and we'll go over it. I have Washington winning division on a tiebreaker at 10-7.
Wow.
I also have the Cowboys going 10-7. Again, assuming Dak is healthy. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to be better on defense initially because Dan Quinn's a good defensive coordinator. Was not a good head coach, but he's a good defensive coordinator. I cannot underestimate the addition of Jabril Cox and Micah Parsons to that defense. I still think they're a major liability on the back end.
Yes.
But if they get enough pressure on the quarterback, that does tend to make your secondary look a little bit better than it actually is. So I think they're going to be slightly better. But everybody tends to forget what Dallas was doing offensively before Dak got hurt last year. They were putting up pretty historic numbers. So assuming Dak is healthy and he's himself, I could see them winning just based off the offensive side of the football. I want to go over the Giants' schedule because I have them at 6-11. And it does seem a little harsh.
A little bit.
Because it's pretty much the same exact record they had last year. And I do have the Eagles going 3-14.
One of the worst. The top, 3 pick?
I just don't think they're very good.
Nah, I don't think so either.
But let me go over the Giants' schedule. And like I said, I know I'm going to get a lot of heat for this, but I look at this schedule for the Giants, and I remember they're playing a second-place schedule this year because they came in second place last year.
Okay.
So we got Denver at home. I got that as a win. At Washington, I have that as a loss. I got Atlanta, a win. At New Orleans, a loss. At Dallas, a loss. That's 2-3. I have Carolina, a win. It's 3-3. I have at KC, a loss. 3-4. Versus Vegas, a win. 4-4. Then a bye. At Tampa, a loss. 4-5. Versus Philly, win. 5-5. At Miami, loss. At the Chargers, loss. Versus Dallas, loss.
So they're 5-8.
5-8. At Philly, win.
6-8.
And then I have them losing to Chicago and Washington. Now, they swept Washington last year.
Yeah.
I think Washington has a better quarterback this year in Fitzpatrick. I think he's better than what they had last year.
Okay.
The combination of Dwayne Haskins and Alex Smith, who was a shell of himself, and Taylor Heineke, I think Fitzpatrick is definitely going to stabilize that offense a little bit.
Yeah.
I think they're better. As I look at the schedule, I could definitely see the Giants maybe winning another game or two in the schedule.
Oh, Chicago.
Maybe going 8-9, 7-10. Again, but the Giants, very similar to the Chargers. I need to see it.
Yeah.
The Giants now for 5 to 6, 7 years have been a team that whenever we think they're going to turn a corner, they fall flat on their face. And that's kind of been the narrative with them a little bit. So, that December schedule, at Miami, at LA Chargers versus Dallas, at Philly, that's not easy. And yes, Philly's bad, but the Giants, I don't think the Giants have swept Philly in a long time.
No.
So while we have the Philadelphia Eagles going 3-14, they got to win. They have to find wins somewhere. And, when it comes to rivalry games, throw everything out the window.
Yeah.
So, I hope the Giants prove me wrong. I'd love to see the Giants back in the playoffs.
Definitely on an upward trajectory.
Absolutely on a trajectory. I think Joe Judge is a good coach. But I mainly have them going 6-11 because I haven't seen it yet. I need to see it. If I start to see that they win a game they shouldn't win on paper, like if I see them beat the LA Rams at home, like they beat Seattle in Seattle last year, and I was like, damn.
Yeah, that's like a shocker. Like,
okay.
Oh, shit. Like, okay.
So if I see them beat the LA Rams at home, if I see them beat the Cowboys in Dallas, I'm like, okay, all right, I'll start to believe a little bit. That's fine. I'll take that.
Yeah.
But I need to see it first.
Fair enough.
So, really quick, before we transition into our into something else, into our Legends preview, really quick, AFC East, Bills 13-4, Dolphins 9-8, Pats 8-9, Jets 5-12. I have the Bills as the 2 seed, the Dolphins as the 6 seed, and the Patriots as the 7 seed at 8-9.
Wow. Okay.
AFC North, the Browns winning division at 10-7 as the number 4 seed. The Ravens as the number 5 seed at 9-8. The Steelers finishing 7-10. The Bengals 5-12. The AFC South, the Titans with the number 3 seed going 12-5. The Jaguars 8-9. The Colts 7-10. The Broncos 6-11. In the AFC West, the Chiefs 15-2 is the number 1 seed. The Chargers 8-9, the Raiders 7-10, and the Broncos 6-11. The reason the Patriots get the number 7 seed over Jacksonville and the Chargers is because in my standings, I have the Patriots beating both the Chargers and the Jaguars head-to-head during that season, giving them the tiebreaker.
Okay.
In the NFC East, we have the Washington football team going 10-7, winning that division. They split with Dallas, but have a better NFC East record, so I give them the crown. The Cowboys get the number 7 seed at 10-7. The Giants 6-11. The Eagles 3-14. The Packers the number 2 seed at 12-5. The Vikings 9-8, missing out of the playoffs by a game. Sorry, pal. Bears 4-13. Lions 3-14. And then I got the Bucks at 13-4. They're the number 1 seed. The Saints 8-9. The Falcons 5-12. The Panthers 4-13. And then the loaded NFC West. The Rams get the 3 seed at 12-5 because I have them losing in Green Bay as a tiebreaker, losing the tiebreaker to the Packers. The Seahawks at 11-6 as the 5, and the Niners at 10-7 as the 6 seed, and the Cardinals for the second year in a row missing out on the playoffs at 9-8 by a game.
Oof. It's a tough look.
Tough look. Way too early standings predictor complete. Stick with us. We have 5 minutes quickly to go over what the Legend Series will be, who our first week is going to consist of, and how we're going to do it. We'll be right back, folks.
Hey y'all, Spencer Blinn, the producer for Perfect Spiral Podcast, and you're listening to my band Hollow Choir's new song, What You Want. Available now on Spotify. What you want?
All right, everybody, before we get out of your hair tonight, John and I are going to discuss the highly anticipated Legend Series, where we are going to break down our top 11 players, both active and non-active.
Not only players, though, Joe.
Oh, head coaches as well.
We're doing head coaches and teams.
Head coaches and teams.
We're doing head coaches, teams, and players.
At each position, doing 11 guys. There's 11 guys on each side of the football field. And I believe our first week, we're going to do the divas of the group, as they are so often called. The wide receivers will be first on deck for our Legend Series. John, who are you looking to see in our top 11 for wide receivers? Give the folks a couple of names who we know are going to be there.
Okay, a couple of names that we're definitely going to discuss. Randy Moss.
Right.
Terrell Owens.
Okay.
Jerry Rice.
Gotcha.
Julio Jones.
I don't know about that, but we'll see about that.
Calvin Johnson.
I'll give you Calvin.
Larry Fitzgerald.
Okay, I'll give you Larry.
Torrey Holt.
See, I'm so glad we're doing this because what about guys like Lynn Swann? What about guys like Chris Collinsworth? What about guys like Michael Irvin?
Michael Irvin is in there, yeah.
Right. What about guys like Fred Biletnikoff? You know, like older guys that need to get that recognition. Just because they played in the 70s doesn't mean they weren't good. They weren't bad receivers.
Well, let's see
Steve
if they make
Largent,
the cut.
Hall of Fame wide receiver for the Seattle Seahawks. You know, like all those guys I just mentioned, they're all better than Julio Jones. Every single one.
Well,
I piss on Julio Jones.
Well, let's see if they make the cut. I mean, it's gonna be fun. We're gonna break down.
We're going to do a collective. We're not doing our each. We're going to do a perfect spiral, 11 greatest. We're going to come up with a formula as to why those guys are better or greater than each one. And that formula will include stuff like Hall of Fame, statistics,
All-Pro,
Super Bowls, All-Pro, who won a Super Bowl, who didn't win a Super Bowl. You know, stuff like that. Did they play on winning teams? Did they not play on winning teams? So
Antonio Brown was another name.
Stop. I'm not discussing this right now. So that's going to be really fun. That is going to go through, I believe, to training camp, right?
About August, right?
So we're going to be exclusively talking about the Legend Series every week. If there's a big story that comes out, we will mention it on the pod.
Yeah, of course.
Either at the very beginning or the very end. But primarily, we're going to be going over the Legend Series. And we will also be live tweeting our legends as they are counted down on the pod when we're recording live. We're going to try to get it to do maybe a live stream or a Twitch during that.
I think we're going to try to do... Oh, phone drop. We're going to try to do... I think at some point during this... Because we were contemplating getting like live video up and running of the pod, because a couple of people have actually requested that we put a video of us recording the pod on YouTube. We are looking into that and how to do that. So, I mean, that could be something that launches during the Legends series. That would be fun.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
If we get that going.
That'd be great. And, it's something that me and John are both looking forward to. It's just another way for us to draw some more fans. So if you have people who you think should be in the top 11 for the wide receivers, please tweet us at PSP Pod. Hit us up at the Perfect Spiral Gmail at perfectspiralpod at gmail.com. Hit us up on Instagram. Hit us up on Facebook. Let us know who you think should be on the Legends list. And no, Jose, Mike Evans will not be there at all. He's not even in the discussion or the conversation.
No, not yet.
To all my Giant fans, Plaxico Burress or Amani Toomer will not be on the list either. And to all my Jet fans, Wayne Corbett will also not be there. So he will not be there. Even though
breaking hearts already.
I love Jimmy Smith. He's my favorite Jaguar of all time. He probably won't make that list either. So that should be fun. John, anything to add about the Legend series? I know you're really excited about it.
I'm excited about it. I'm excited to do our definitive breakdown and see how through the years it changes, you know?
Oh, yeah, man.
Like to see how like certain guys climb the rankings, you know, maybe there's like an alteration here or there. And I'm excited to see how we can really expand this with the Legend series and see how we could be more interactive and do more stuff on Twitter, TikTok, maybe some breakdowns.
No, yeah.
I'm excited for it.
I mean, listen, it's going to be fun. I believe... I don't think I'm spoiling anything here, but I believe we're maybe have some new intro music for the Legend series. Is that right?
Yeah, Spencer, our wonderful producer, and if just so I just have to say this.
Sure.
The song that he puts, his ad for that song is incredible.
Oh, sick!
It's amazing.
Make sure you're giving that shit a listen on Spotify, folks.
It is his. That's Spencer's magnum opus. That song is amazing, and Spencer's a hell of an artist. He is a hell of a creator. That kid. But yes, he is already hard at work on new music. I've already heard the first sample. It was pretty good, but I'm excited, man. It's gonna feel like a little bit of a different pod. It's gonna have a different vibe to it. So
yeah, it'll be fun, man. Listen, it was great to be back here. I'm glad that we are back on the horse, the Perfect Spiral horse. This was a great episode. I really enjoyed it. Not for anything to talk about. We took up about an hour and 15 minutes of everybody's time. So make sure you give us a listen here, wherever you find your podcasts. And for Johnny McCarthy, he's a newly married man, Joe Miglio. We'll see you all next week for the introduction and the inaugural episode of the Legend series. See you all next week at PSP. Out.